1, 2, shake, shake, 1, 2, shake, shake, and then you go 1, 2, shake, shake, 1, 2, shake, shake, 1, 2, shake, 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 apa, shake, shake, dia nana, dia nani, dia o, dia nana, dia nani.
I haven't eaten into your time, Warren. You still got your 10 minutes. I will turn it over to you now, sir.
Thank you so much. I kind of work off my story off the slides, so I'm good with whatever.
There you go. You got it.
So, hi everybody. It's rather an unusual for me to find myself, unusual position for me to find myself in because I can't see you. And I like to tell stories and see your reactions. So I'm looking at a blank screen over there, wondering what the faces on the other side of it look like. But we're looking at Victoria Falls. In the local dialect, it's called Mozi Otunya, which quite simply means the smoke that thunders. One day in late March, I was sitting on one of those cataracts that has a view up into the falls, and there was a young Irish lady sitting in front of me, gazing in awe as the water was cascading over the cataracts, around about 500 million litres of water every minute. It truly is an overwhelming sight, but it's also an overwhelming sound. You can imagine all that water dropping down 100 feet of precipice into a cauldron below. I just walked the rainforest and enjoyed a thoroughly misty morning and was just catching my breath, watching the falls, appreciating the sunlight through the mist, when a young man jumped off the Zambezi Bridge. He was tethered by a nice elastic rope and he plummeted down into the gorge below, and this Irish woman gazed down in absolute shock and horror. She wasn't aware that he was tethered and thought a guy had fallen off the bridge, and nudged her husband. "Hey, Paddy, did you see that? He fell off the bridge." And she then became really full of anxiety. And, for a moment, just had this mischievous moment of mischievousness and decided not to tell her what was going on. Instead, I leant over to her shoulder and said, "Ma'am, that's a crocodile counter. And he leaps off the bridge every now and then to count the numbers of nesting crocodiles at the top end of the river. And if you watch carefully, they'll haul him out and another guy will go over in a few minutes and fact check his numbers." And sure enough, within a minute after he'd completed his bungee jump, another guy leapt off on his bungee jump and shrieked down as he hit the bottom. And at that moment, I just quietly disappeared into the shadows, leaving that young Irish lady to believe that these were crocodile hunters and not bungee jumpers. But that's the beauty of Victoria Falls. It's a wonderful little enclave on the southern side of the mighty Zambezi River, which rises up in the highlands of Angola and flows down and into the Indian Ocean eventually. We, Wild Horizons, operate solely in Victoria Falls. Well, let me rephrase that. We are based in the town of Victoria Falls, operating across the river on the Zambian side, but predominantly in Victoria Falls itself, where we run a fleet of vehicles, coaches, and a bunch of activities that take you up into Botswana, over onto the river, and up the river and down the river. We run the adrenaline activities available to you from the Victoria Falls National Park too. But let me take you through a quick schematic of where we are and what we do. That map is literally the Victoria Falls region. The very first green space that you can see is the Victoria Falls National Park, and that very large green space is the Zambezi National Park, and in between the two is the little town of Victoria Falls itself. We will concentrate on the lodges for this presentation, two of which are in the first green space, the Victoria Falls National Park. That would be the Wallow and Elephant Camp. And then we'll go across to the Zambezi River, or the Zambezi National Park, where we'll zero in on Old Rift Lodge. You'll notice there, Waterfalls Lodge, written in white. That is coming to town next year in July, and it'll be a 60-bed, 3 to 3.5 star facility. But starting off with the Wallow, which I suppose in terms of the pecking order from a rate point of view is the lower priced of the lodges that Wild Horizons operates. It is overlooking a wonderful gorge It is in this gorgeous national park, which has a number of the big five: buffalo, elephant, and the occasional leopard. You don't get to see them very often, and it's a wonderful park to take a walk in because you're relatively safe from the predators. It has plains game, and then of course its major feature is it straddles the gorge of Victoria Falls. Property is incredibly beautifully appointed, big high roofs, lots of open spaces for people to find places to enjoy a coffee or a tea or a drink late after dinner. The rooms are Meru-style tents, as you can see, cylindrical in shape, decent rooftop height with a low-slung ceiling, very simple but very neat and tidy. When you stay at the Wallow, a number of activities are included in your price: a tour of the falls, sundowners overlooking the gorge, game drives within the park, a visit to our wildlife trust where we have worked on and rehabilitated animals from the region, and then there is a standard sunset cruise aboard one of our Upper Zambezi boats that take you on a sunset cruise naturally. I'm going to skedaddle along because I've just noticed my clock is ticking. This is Elephant Camp, which is sort of separated into two camps. One is a 410 camp called Elephant Camp West, ideally suited to families with its double rooms and extra beds for kids. And then you've got the main Elephant Camp itself, which is what you're looking at right here. Beautifully appointed, high ceilings, ensuite bathroom. By the way, we also have outdoor bathrooms and baths and showers, so you can have an alfresco morning if you prefer. A really wonderful environment to relax in and view the smoke that thunders from your bedroom. Please look carefully here because you'll notice there's an odd structure built out in front of that tent. That is called a star bed. It's an area where people can sneak out of their bedrooms at night, lie underneath the southern skies, enjoy a beautiful view of the Southern Cross and the Milky Way, falling shooting stars and the occasional satellite that passes over. Most people enjoy it for the first couple of hours of the evening, and then they disappear back down into their covered tents for the remainder of the night. Either they're afraid or they get some spray from the falls coming through and dampening their night. Similar to the Wallow, we have activities that are included in your stay when you stay at Elephant Camp: gorge sundowner drinks, a tour of the falls, a village tour, and a cruise on the Zambezi Royal Cruise Ship, which is rather a fun event. The village tour, by the way, is led by our staff. We encourage you to let your tourists know that when they come over, not to bring anything with them to give to the villagers. The guides will take you into town, you'll do some local shopping, pick up some local goods that meet the needs of the villagers themselves. And of course, when you do visit the village, you are in the company of a staff member who comes from that village, so you get to interact with the family. It's not as if you're passing through fishbowl style looking at people from the other side of a pane of glass. We can take you down and show you the early conservation experience. We can do the Vic Falls Wildlife Trust tour. Canopy tours are available, and Lookout Cafe for lunch. By the way, the Lookout Cafe is operated by Wild Horizons, so when you stay at any of our lodges, you will be able to enjoy a complimentary lunch at that gorgeous facility. The last of our lodges that we're operating right now is Old Drift Lodge. This was built on the site of an old trading station, and of course, because it was on an old trading station, it's designed to look like that old trading station with corrugated iron roof and a view of the river. The Drift was a place where the cattle merchants used to cross the river onto the Zambian side of the falls, back then known as Northern Rhodesia. But these are beautifully appointed tents, all with wonderful views of the mighty Zambezi River, private plunge pool outside, outdoor bathroom, and again, similar to Elephant Camp, we have 3 suites with a star bed that's perched alongside the tent. And to repeat myself, river cruises, scenic sundowners, game drives. And the game drives, by the way, take place in the Zambezi National Park, which is a game-rich park. Wild dogs, lions, leopards, elephants, buffalo, and on all sorts of plains game. Unlikely that you're going to see rhino there. But it is a terrific game experience. And then, of course, the obligatory tour of the falls guided by a Wild Horizons staff member. Waterfalls Lodge, as I mentioned, is coming to the market next year. This will be open by July. It's going to be a 60-bedroom lodge, which is aiming at the 3 to 3.5 star market. Very well appointed, and it's obviously going to be a new facility. Really a wonderful place to have your guests come and stay to explore the town and the Greater Falls. I mentioned that lunch at the Lookout Cafe was included in our tariffs. It's part of your stay. That is it, showing you where it's perched over the gorge. To to the sunset and the smoke, that's the falls, and then to the other side will be the balance of the Victoria Falls, the Zambezi River Gorge. We have a brand new set of vehicles on our fleet, new coaches, new minivans. Those bottles there show you that we have a zero tolerance for plastics, and we like people to make use of refillable water bottles while they're there. They can fill their bottles from our camps where we have reverse osmosis fresh water available. And the Zambezi River Cruise offers you a trip up the river where you can see game from the water and enjoy the setting African sun. Our properties are all family friendly. We love taking kids around and showing them some of Africa's wildlife. And these are just a couple of other things that you can do when you stay with us. Canopy tour, travel around town on an e-bike, do various trips up and down the Zambezi River, across into Botswana and into Zambia. And then we have the art safari as well. So that is us in a nutshell, and I thank you all very much for taking the time to listen to me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Warren. We really appreciate that. And a different, I guess, approach to Victoria Falls, would you say, than maybe others out there? What's the unique offering? I mean, we obviously saw the images, the sunsets, but what would you say is the unique offering of your property?
You know, Wild Horizons has been operating in Victoria Falls for 50 plus years.
Yeah.
I think what makes a tour of the falls unique and special is that we've got well-trained guides.
Right.
They're naturalists, so they appreciate the vegetation and the biome that surrounds Victoria Falls, and will give you a wonderful guided tour. They're not just going to talk about volumes of water that's cascading
Right.
over the precipice. They're going to be telling you about the bird life, the mammals that live there, and the types of trees that you're seeing in that unique space.
So more than meets the eye.
I think so, and not only is it the guiding, but we also have a unique event every full moon.
Right.
Particularly in the full water periods of the river, we have a moon rainbow.
Okay.
And so what has become quite significant is doing tours of the falls at night, catching this moon rainbow,
Wow.
which is a special event.
Oh, my God. That would be one for the books for sure. All right. Well, thank you, Warren. Really appreciate that. Wild Horizons.
Yeah,